friends, I'm Carly. I'm one of the volunteers at the book bank, and today I'm going to be reading you two stories. The first is a story from Adventures of Frog and Toad by Arnold Lobel. And the second story I'm going to be reading is Pokko and the Drum by Matthew Forsythe. So we're going to start with Adventures of Frog and Toad, and the story that I'm reading from that is called A List. One morning, Toad sat in bed. "I have many things to do," he said. "I will write them all down on a list so that I remember them." Toad wrote on a piece of paper, "A list of things to do today." Then he wrote, "Wake up." "I have done that," said Toad, and he crossed out "wake up." Then Toad wrote other things on the paper, and here's the things he wrote. "A list of things to do today. Wake up," and that's scratched out. "Eat breakfast. Get dressed. Go to Frog's house. Take a walk with Frog. Eat lunch. Take a nap. Play games with Frog. Eat supper. And go to sleep." "There," said Toad. "Now my day is all written down." He got out of bed and had something to eat. Then Toad crossed out, "Eat breakfast." Toad took his clothes out of the closet and put them on. Then he crossed out, "Get dressed." Toad put the list in his pocket. He opened the door and walked out into the morning. Soon Toad was at Frog's front door. He took the list from his pocket and crossed out, "Go to Frog's house." Toad knocked at the door. "Hello," said Frog. "Look at my list of things to do," said Toad. "Oh," said Frog, "that is very nice." Toad said, "My list tells me that we will go on a walk." "All right," said Frog, "I'm ready." Frog and Toad went on a long walk. Then Toad took the list from his pocket again. He crossed out, "Take a walk with Frog." Just then there was a strong wind. It blew the list out of Toad's hand. The list blew high up into the air. "Help!" cried Toad. "My list is blowing away. What will I do without my list?" "Hurry," said Frog. "We will run and catch it." "No," shouted Toad. "I cannot do that." "Why not?" asked Frog. "Because," wailed Toad, "running after my list is not one of the things that I wrote on my list of things to do." Frog ran after the list. He ran over the hills and swamps, but the list blew on and on. At last Frog came back to Toad. "I'm sorry," gasped Frog, "but I could not catch your list." "Blah," said Toad. "I cannot remember any of the things that were on my list of things to do. I will just have to sit here and do nothing," said Toad. Toad sat and did nothing. Frog sat with him. After a long time, Frog said, "Toad, it is getting dark. We should be going to sleep now." "Go to sleep," shouted Toad. "That was the last thing on my list." Toad wrote on the ground with a stick, "Go to sleep." Then he crossed it out. "There," said Toad. "Now my day is all crossed out." "I'm glad," said Frog. Then Frog and Toad went right to sleep. So my second story is Pokko and the Drum by Matthew Forsythe. And this one has really beautiful illustrations at the front of mushrooms. The biggest mistake Pokko's parents ever made was giving her a drum. They had made mistakes before, like the slingshot and the llama and the balloon. But the drum was the biggest mistake. "We shouldn't have given her that drum," said her father. "What?" said her mother. "The drum is too loud, I can't hear you." "The drum was a big mistake," said her father. "That sounds like a wonderful idea," said her mother, who still couldn't hear what he was saying. The next day, her father said, "Pokko, why don't you take your drum outside for a little while? But don't make too much noise. We're just a little frog family that lives in a mushroom, and we don't like drawing attention to ourselves." Pokko agreed, and she set off as quietly as she could. It had just rained, and the forest was sparkling like an emerald. And it was very quiet. Too quiet. Pokko started tapping on her drum, just to keep herself company, but something was stirring behind her. A raccoon playing a banjo started following her, so Pokko hit her drum louder. And then a rabbit playing a trumpet started following them, but Pokko kept playing her drum. And then a wolf, who couldn't really play anything, but was very happy to be near the music, joined in, and Pokko still played her drum. But then the wolf ate the rabbit, and Pokko stopped playing her drum and faced the wolf and said, "No more eating band members, or you're out of the band." "I'm sorry," said the wolf, and he meant it. And then they all started playing again, and soon there was a crowd of animals playing instruments, and a crowd of animals following them around, enjoying the music. And they were all following Pokko. "Pokko, your dinner is ready," shouted her father. No one answered, but he could hear music in the distance. And the music grew louder and louder. Until the crowd swept through the house and carried Pokko's parents off into the woods. "Oh no," said her father. "Oh dear," said her mother. "I think that's Pokko down in front," said her father. "And you know what?" "What?" said her mother, who was just getting to the best part of the book. "I think she's pretty good." And no one could hear what he was saying, but if they could, they all would have agreed. I hope you enjoyed these two stories. Thanks for joining me, and I'll see you again soon. Bye!